Have you ever woken up feeling more tired than when you went to bed, even though the house is finally quiet, the kids are grown, the noise of decades has faded, and yet your body just doesn't feel like yours anymore? Diabetes. A word that once belonged to other people, maybe your parents or that neighbor down the street, is now scribbled in your medical chart. Quietly, definitively, and you're left wondering, why now? Why, after 70 years of surviving, enduring, pushing through, is your blood sugar suddenly center stage? Why, when you finally earned the right to rest, to travel, to laugh freely without guilt, is your body suddenly burdened with something else? It's not fair. You didn't see it coming. You weren't warned. No one told you that the symptoms for older women aren't always the same, that we dismiss fatigue as age, that we explain away vision changes, weight shifts, and slow healing as just getting old. No one said, hey, you've been strong your whole life, but now it's time to listen carefully. And so you ask yourself, what is happening to me? The truth is, diabetes in older women isn't rare. In fact, it's increasingly common. But that doesn't make it any less overwhelming, or confusing, or isolating. Maybe you're scared to ask questions. Maybe you feel ashamed. Or maybe, like so many women, you're simply exhausted, not just from the condition itself, but from the weight of starting over again. One more time, at a time in life when you thought the battles were behind you. But let me tell you something, you're not broken, you're not weak, and you are not alone. This isn't just another health lecture. This is a conversation. One that should have happened years ago, but is happening now because now you're ready. You're ready to understand what's going on inside your body. You're ready to look diabetes in the eye, not with fear, but with clarity. You're ready to learn how to manage it, not with extreme diets or complicated routines, but with tools that fit your life, your pace, your strength. Because there's still so much life left in you, so much laughter, so much adventure, and yes, so much healing. In this video, we're not just talking about blood sugar. We're talking about decades of silent shifts. We're talking about what really happens to a woman's body after 70. We're talking about all the things your doctors didn't explain. And most importantly, we're talking about what you can do today, tomorrow, and every day after that to regain control, feel better, and live fully. So take a deep breath. Settle in. So what is diabetes, really? It's one of those words we hear tossed around at doctor's appointments, on pharmacy posters, in conversations about cutting back on sweets. But what's going on underneath it all? Let's break it down simply. Diabetes is a condition where your body struggles to manage sugar, specifically glucose, in your bloodstream. And here's where it gets tricky. Your body needs sugar for energy. It's fuel. But too much of it floating around in your blood? That's where the danger begins. Now, there are two main types, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is less common. It's usually diagnosed earlier in life, and it happens when your body just doesn't make insulin at all, insulin being the hormone that helps sugar get from your blood into your cells. Without insulin, sugar has nowhere to go. Then there's type 2, which is what we're focusing on here. This one is far more common in older adults, especially women over 70. And with type 2, your body still makes insulin, but it doesn't use it well. It's like having a key that doesn't quite fit the lock anymore. So sugar stays in the blood where it starts causing damage slowly, silently. There's also something called prediabetes. That's the warning zone. Your blood sugar levels are higher than they should be, but not high enough for a diabetes diagnosis yet. It's like your body tapping you on the shoulder, saying, hey, pay attention. So why is this so common for women in their 70s and beyond? Let's talk biology. First, there's menopause. After menopause, estrogen drops. And estrogen, among its many roles, actually helps your body stay sensitive to insulin. When it drops, insulin resistance can creep in. That means your cells don't respond to insulin the way they used to. Sugar builds up in your blood instead of being used for energy. Then there's metabolism. You've probably noticed you don't burn calories the way you used to. Things slow down. Your muscle mass naturally decreases with age. And less muscle means your body becomes less efficient at using glucose. It's like the engine just doesn't rev the same way. Combine that with the fact that aging can change the way your pancreas functions, the organ that makes insulin, and you've got a perfect storm brewing. But it's not just biology. Lifestyle plays a huge role. Let's be honest. After retirement, our routines change. Maybe you move less. Maybe there's more sitting, more time spent at home, more TV, less walking around the neighborhood. You're not commuting, chasing kids, juggling work anymore. And then there's food. Generational eating habits matter. You grew up in a world where processed foods started to rise, canned goods, white bread, sugar in everything. Those little habits build up over time. We weren't taught how to read labels back then. We just cooked what was affordable, what filled bellies. Add stress into the mix, decades of it. Taking care of a sick spouse, worrying about grandkids, managing bills on a fixed income. That constant mental load wears on your body. Chronic stress actually raises blood sugar levels. It's not all in your head. It's real. And cortisol, the stress hormone, doesn't do you any favors when it comes to managing insulin. And let's talk about the silent burden so many women carry. Diabetes symptoms don't always show up loudly in women. For men, it might be clear-cut, excessive thirst, constant urination, dramatic weight changes. For women, it can be sneaky, fatigue, irritability, blurry vision. We dismiss them as aging, as menopause, as just one of those days. Too often, women go undiagnosed longer. We're more likely to brush it off. And unfortunately, that means we're also more likely to face complications, nerve damage, heart issues, kidney problems, because we're not catching it early enough. It's not because we're doing something wrong. It's because we've been conditioned not to focus on ourselves, not to question what's normal, not to speak up when something feels off. So, if you're sitting there thinking, "This makes so much sense now," you're not alone. You're not imagining things. And you're definitely not overreacting. This is your body's way of saying, "Hey, I've been through a lot. Let's work together now." Let me tell you about Mary. Mary's 73. She's one of those women who always had a light about her. Gardened in the mornings, read mystery novels with her feet tucked under a blanket. Never really complained about much. But lately, she'd started losing weight, and not the kind you celebrate. She wasn't even trying. She was tired, more tired than usual. It wasn't just, "I need a nap" tired. It was, "Why does walking from the living room to the kitchen feel like a marathon" kind of tired. Her daughter finally convinced her to go in for a checkup. And just like that, no drumroll, no warning, it was diabetes. Type 2. Mary sat there stunned. All she could say was, "But I thought I was just getting older." You see, that's the thing. That's the trap. So many women like Mary chalk it up to age. You feel thirsty all the time, but maybe you think it's just dry air. You're going to the bathroom more often, but hey, maybe it's just one of those aging quirks. You're dizzy, foggy, forgetting things you swore you just remembered. But no one told you these could be red flags. No one tells you that your body after 70 plays by a different set of rules. And then there's Linda. Linda spent 40 years taking care of everyone else. Her husband had heart issues. She scheduled his meds, managed his appointments, made sure his meals were healthy. She kept the household running while holding down a part-time job. When he passed away, the silence in the house was deafening. But she finally had time to look after herself. Except she didn't really know how to. Not after a lifetime of being the caregiver. When she started feeling off. Dizzy spells, slow healing cuts, odd skin infections. She brushed it all aside. "I'll deal with it later," she told herself, until her vision blurred one day at the grocery store, and she had to lean on a stranger just to find the exit. One test later, and there it was. Diabetes. Advanced. She told me something I'll never forget. She said, "I gave my best years to everyone else, and now I don't even know where to start for me." That hit me, and maybe it hits you too. Because the truth is, we're not taught to put ourselves first. Especially not women. Especially not older women. Especially not when you've built a life around holding everyone else together. And so when something starts falling apart inside us, we either don't see it or we don't believe we're allowed to stop and deal with it. Fear sneaks in first, quietly. What does this mean for me? Will I lose my independence? Am I going to be a burden? Then comes the confusion. Wait, how did this happen? I've always tried to eat okay. I walk when I can. I'm not like them. How could I have missed this? And then there's the shame. That nasty little voice in your head that whispers, "You should have known better. You should have caught this earlier." But here's the part we don't talk about enough, the resilience. Because Mary, she's managing now. She takes daily walks with her neighbor. She's learned how to read food labels. She keeps a little notebook where she tracks her numbers like a proud student. And Linda? She joined a local support group. She's learning how to cook just for her for the first time in decades. She started writing again. Poems. Journal entries. Her words have fire in them. So if any of this feels familiar, if you're nodding along, thinking, "This sounds like me," I want you to know you're not failing. You're waking up. You're paying attention. And this isn't the end of anything. This could be the beginning. You ready to learn what's actually going on inside your body? Let's talk about what you can do about all this, not with guilt or pressure, but with clarity and care. Let's start with food because that's where most people feel overwhelmed. Green salad diet adjustments. Here's the thing, your plate doesn't have to be sad or bland to be healthy. It just needs a little rebalancing. You've probably heard about the glycemic index, right? Sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. It just measures how fast a food raises your blood sugar. Foods with a high glycemic index, like white bread or sugary snacks, cause sugar spikes. Your body has to work overtime to deal with those. But foods with a low glycemic index? They release sugar slowly and keep your levels steady. So what should you eat more of? Whole foods. Think of foods that come from the earth, not a package. Fresh veggies. Whole grains like oats and brown rice. Beans. Lentils. Nuts. Lean proteins like fish, tofu, or chicken. Fiber is your friend. It slows digestion, keeps you full, and helps with sugar control. So load up on broccoli, spinach, apples, pears, and even a little sweet potato. Now let's talk portions. We're not counting every calorie, we're just watching the size of the scoop. A simple way? Use your hand. Your palm equals protein A, cupped hand equals carbs A, fist equals veggies A, thumb equals fats like olive oil or peanut butter. Let me give you an example of a balanced plate for breakfast. Half a cup of steel-cut oats, a few slices of banana or blueberries, a sprinkle of cinnamon, a hard-boiled egg on the side, and some green tea for lunch. Grilled salmon or black beans, half a plate of mixed veggies, a small scoop of quinoa, maybe a side of yogurt with chia seeds. You don't have to eat the same meals every day either. Let's say you enjoy African soups, Indian curries, or Caribbean stews. You can absolutely still enjoy those. Just adjust portions, skip the added sugar, and include fiber-rich sides. We're not erasing your culture, we're respecting it while helping your body work better. Now let's get your body moving. Woman walking mediums can own movement and exercise. You don't need a gym membership. You don't even need fancy sneakers. You just need your body and a little bit of consistency. Start with walking. Just 10 to 20 minutes after a meal can dramatically help control blood sugar. Walk around the block. Put on some music. Use that time as a break for you. If standing is tough, try chair yoga. Yes, it's real and it works. Gentle stretches while seated can help with stiffness, balance, and circulation. Reach your arms up. Twist gently. Roll your shoulders. Counts. Or maybe just dance. In the living room, in the kitchen, with the curtains drawn or wide open. Turn on your favorite oldies, gospel, jazz, whatever brings joy, and move. Joy is medicine too. And don't forget strength. Even using soup cans or light hand weights a few times a week can help build bone density and protect against falls. Strong muscles equals better blood sugar control. You're not training for a marathon. You're training for your life, a strong, independent one. Pill medication and monitoring. Now let's talk medicine. Not the scary kind, just the stuff your doctor might recommend. You've probably heard of metformin. It's often the first step. It helps your body use insulin better and keeps your liver from making too much sugar. Simple, safe, common. Some people eventually need insulin. And that's not a failure. It's just another tool. Think of it like glasses. Your eyes need help, you wear glasses. Your body needs help with insulin? You use it. No shame. There are also natural supplements out there like cinnamon extract or berberine, but only try those if your doctor gives the green light. Natural doesn't always mean safe, especially with other meds. Track your blood sugar daily if you can. Use a little notebook or an app. Write down how you feel, what you ate, your mood. Patterns will start to appear. It's not just numbers, it's a story your body is telling you. You just have to listen. Woman in lotus position, emotional health and support, and now, the heart of it all, your emotions. Getting a diagnosis can feel like a punch to the gut. Fear, anger, confusion, even guilt. It's okay to feel all of that. You're not weak for needing time to process. But don't carry it alone. Try journaling 5 minutes a day just to release the noise. Write what you're afraid of, what you're proud of, what surprised you today. Try meditation. You don't have to sit cross-legged or chant. Just breathe. In for 4, hold, out for 4. That's it. That's mindfulness. That's calming your nervous system. Find a support group online, in your community, even just a Facebook group of women walking the same path. Hearing someone say, "Yes, me too," is healing in a way that pills never will be. And if you're a caregiver or you were one, let me say this gently but clearly. You're allowed to set boundaries. You're allowed to say no. You don't have to prove your worth by pouring every drop of yourself into someone else. You matter. Your health matters. This isn't about restriction. It's about reclamation. These are some of the most common questions I get from women in our community, and if you've asked any of these in your head or out loud, you're not alone. Is diabetes reversible? That's probably the most asked question. And the answer? It depends. If you've been diagnosed with prediabetes or you're in the very early stages of type 2, yes, some people do bring their blood sugar back to a normal range through changes in food, movement, stress, and sleep. It's more like remission than a cure. Think of it like pressing pause. The condition might still be there in the background, but your lifestyle holds the remote. Now, if you've had type 2 for years and there's been damage to the pancreas or insulin resistance is strong, full reversal is harder. But better control, fewer meds, better energy, mobility, and joy, that's absolutely possible, and it's powerful. So even if you can't reverse it completely, you can absolutely reclaim your health. Can I still eat bread? Oh yes, the bread question. We love our toast, our rolls are fresh out of the oven, everything. The good news? You don't have to say goodbye to bread forever. But there's a but. You do have to be choosy. Whole grain breads with fiber are your best friends. Look at the label. Does it say whole wheat as the first ingredient? Does it have at least 3 grams of fiber per slice? That's a good start. Pair your bread with protein or healthy fat, like almond butter or a boiled egg, and it'll slow down the sugar spike. Avoid white bread or those super soft buns with added sugars that melt in your mouth. They act more like candy in your bloodstream. Bread doesn't have to be your enemy. Just make it part of a balanced meal, not the main event. What's a safe glucose level for someone my age? Great question, because age does play a role in what's considered safe. For most adults over 70, doctors don't want you aiming for numbers that are too tight. Why? Because the risk of low blood sugar becomes more dangerous with age. Think dizziness, falls, confusion. So the goal might look something like this. Before meals, between 90 and 130 milligrams per deciliter a couple hours after eating. Under 180 milligrams per deciliter, of course. This varies depending on your health, medications, and how long you've had diabetes. But remember, the goal isn't perfect numbers. The goal is steady, safe, and sustainable numbers that let you feel strong. Always talk with your doctor about your target range for you, not your neighbor, not what you saw online. Can I manage this without medication? This one's a little layered. Some people can, yes. Especially if their blood sugar isn't very high and they commit to consistent changes, daily movement, fiber-rich meals, weight management, stress reduction. But for many, especially after age 70, medication becomes part of the plan. Not because you failed, but because your body's been through a lot. Your pancreas may not produce insulin like it used to, and the goal is not to tough it out. The goal is to protect your eyes, kidneys, heart, and nerves for as long as possible. The important thing is this: even with medication, lifestyle changes matter. Medicine is a support beam, not a replacement for care. What should I do if I live alone? That one hits deep, because living alone can feel empowering and scary. Start with routines, regular meal times, a daily walk, meds at the same hour each day. Structure is calming and reduces blood sugar swings. Next, tech can help. There are glucose meters that sync to apps. You can even set reminders for meals and meds. If you're not tech savvy, even a paper logbook or a whiteboard on the fridge does wonders. Then reach out. Join a senior center, a diabetes group online, or even start a text check-in with a friend. Isolation can sneak up on you. Staying connected emotionally and socially protects your health more than you know. And if you ever feel unsafe alone, say you've had dizzy spells or worry about falls, please talk to your doctor. There may be programs or support options you don't even know exist. You deserve to feel safe in your own home. Now I want to hear your voice. Have you been diagnosed with diabetes after 60? What surprised you the most? What's been the hardest part or the most hopeful? Scroll down and leave a comment. I read every single one. And if the space felt like a soft place to land today, I'd love to keep walking with you. Hit that subscribe button.